Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. I want to welcome you to Fighting for Freedom. My name is Davita. I am the host alongside my husband, Rodney Pitts. He is also the host of the show. Fighting for Freedom is a platform designed for those individuals who are incarcerated. We want to give them a voice. We want to hear what they've been doing, what they've been up to. We come on every third Sunday, 7 p.m. on Black Box Radio. We will bring a new guest to you guys. But we have a treat for y'all tonight. This is our third show. Let me say that. Third show. We're pushing, we're moving. Um, Tonight, the guest is myself, alongside my husband, Mr. Pitts. He is here. I want to welcome him. He is incarcerated. He is at Western Correctional Institution in Cumberland, Maryland. Mr. Pitts, thank you, sir, for coming on the show. Introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having me. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Rodney Pitts, and I come from the spirit of hope, from the gullies of Spanish Town to the trenches of Baltimore. I'm a husband, a grandfather, a father, a son, a brother, and a Sunni Muslim. I'm determined, passionate, accomplished, the epitome of strength, and I am not my crown. I believe in accountability, empathy for myself and others, and in second chances.
Well, thank you. That was a good introduction. That was a great introduction. Thanks again. As we all heard in his introduction, he has some really great and wonderful qualities about himself. Um, so, as I introduced in the show, I said, we are fighting for freedom. And I didn't get into a lot about what fighting for freedom is. So, I'm going to let my husband do that. I want you to tell us, Mr. Pitts, exactly what is fighting for freedom? How did you come up with it? Like, what is the purpose behind this?
Alhamdulillah. I say, my reasons for starting fighting for freedom actually stem from my own situation. So that society know that I came to prison at a very young age of 21. The same month as my 21st birthday I came. And during those times, surely I've never been in the system before. I had no idea about it, had no knowledge of it. I was never taught anything pertaining to it. So I needed help, but I didn't have a voice. I had no one to speak up for me. I had no one to defend me. And the one that I thought that we was paying to defend me surely wasn't. So not wanting anybody else to have to suffer from not having a voice, from not being heard, from not having their story told. I wanted to do something that would be effective where society can actually hear about, the individuals as they are, as opposed to how people wanted to see them as being. So this platform came about, you know, because of that.
Okay, well, thank you. That's commendable. Not just thinking of yourself, but thinking of others. You don't get that. You don't get that too much out here. So you said you started this for the inmates and for other people to give them a voice. It's 29 years later. What happened between then and this 29 years?
Well, just to backtrack a little bit, um, I came in 1995. I was unlawfully confined for a double homicide, and in '97 I was wrongfully convicted for that double homicide. With that, I ended up entering into the system, you know, and coming into the system, I came in as of what I know. The things that I heard about prison and this, that, and another. You feel me? So when I came in, being that I had a high profile case, they sent me straight into the Maryland Penitentiary. As a little kid. You feel me? So going to there, and I had to adapt to my environment. So the things that I knew about, the things that I learned out there, which I thought was normal, was another part of this environment here, just moving to another neighborhood. So it took, years for me to get the chance to understand because I did what people asked me not to do because I didn't understand what they meant when they said it as far as don't get lost in the system. I never knew what that meant. So I end up getting lost in the system. I came through young. I got the gang banging. I was caught in that mindset and caught in that life frame. And like I say, with how I was groomed, I didn't see nothing wrong with that. I didn't think nothing was wrong with that because that was what my environment was. So with living that lifestyle, I never applied myself as far as fighting for my freedom, fighting for my life. And although within inside of myself, I know there's something that I wanted. I wanted better. I wanted more. I just didn't know how to, to go about getting it. So I ended up getting lost in the system, going on lockup, going on admin, being sent to super maxes and ultra maxes. You feel me? And before I know it, 10, 15 years don't want to pass.
Wow.
So, it took for me to get around some real men, some serious men, and I say real and serious, not as far as go hard, because anybody can go hard. But I say ones who had a different perception of what life was, or what life meant, of what valuing life was. And once I got around those men, and they began to groom me and educate me, and I started to perceive things in a different fashion. So I seen them fighting. So therefore, I was interested in what they was doing because that's what I knew I needed to be doing. You feel me? So them men, they took out the time to, start to educate me and groom me in the way of the law, in the way of education. Being that I came to prison with only a seventh grade education. You know what I mean? So not being able to discern properly this from that, they became my guiding light, so to speak. So once it got to that point, man, where that education that they was giving to me brought a different perception of how I began to view life, then I started to move different. I started to distance myself from things. I started to readjust, reset, and I guess it comes along a road with maturity and growth. You know what I mean? Because I was no longer that little 21-year-old boy that just came into the system. So, I end up through it all, though. I end up attaining over 250 certificates from different courses. I end up getting my GED, which for me that was accomplishment.
Right.
And I end up getting certified with paralegal studies, criminal law, and family law. I became a mentor for those who suffer from severe mental illnesses. I facilitated multiple programs such as the MITS program, which is Men in Transition Towards Success, along with the LAP program, which is Life Action Planning program. In this program right here, it helps people to see that they can become something and do something still with their life in spite of their circumstances or the conditions that they was prevailing of. I'm a student at an Islamic school called the Table Foundation. I'm a business owner, which I started my own business from incarceration. And I actually got married in 2018, by the mercy and permissions of Allah. These was the rewards from once a person began to move different with his life.
Okay. That's a lot. What I do want to touch on a little bit, I heard you say, you had a seventh grade education coming in there. How do one learn to read better, understand better? Like, where were those resources? How do you obtain that in prison?
Well, for the most part, like they say, a person fake it till they make it. You know what I mean? Being amongst certain conversations and, people talking, and they include you in those conversations, although you don't know or have an idea or clue what they're talking about, you faking it. You feel what I'm saying? So what I would do when I hear certain things and be amongst certain conversations, I go back after the conversation over, and once I get back to my cell or whatever, then I go ahead and pull out a dictionary and look up a word that I heard him say, or look up something to see what that meaning to it was. And then I was able to better, put that sentence together or put the whole conversation together as a whole. And then I grew an interest for that. I began hunger. I wanted to know more. I wanted to do better. I wanted to strive. So therefore, that determination to succeed kicked in. You know what I mean? So with that, it was discouraging at first, for sure. Trying to go to people, and you still caught up on pride and ego. You feel me? So you can't really ask for help. in that fashion. And when you do ask for help, certain people you may ask for help from may not know their self. So as opposed to them directing you where you can go to get help, they give you attitude instead, which makes or triggers your attitude. You feel me? So in response to that attitude, now y'all ready to just bump heads. So you walked away with less than what you actually came to the table with or seeking. So
Meeting you and having our conversations, no one, well, I couldn't, I'm not gonna say no one, I couldn't tell that you only had at that time a seventh grade education, um, that you went into prison without being versed in a lot of things. Speaking to you, I learned so much from you in the beginning, and I still do. I learned so much about God. I learned so much about spirituality. I learned so much about love. Um, and then once I heard your story and all of that, I was just amazed that you was able to obtain certain things in prison, and a lot of people can't get them on the street. Unfortunately, you know, literacy on the street is minimal. It's a lot of people out here who can't read. I did a paper in school that spoke about illiteracy and how it affects and plagues many in this country. So with us being free, and as people who aren't searching or trying to obtain certain things that you were able to obtain in prison, that was, where I was going with the question, like, how do you get your GED in prison and you can barely read yourself, just to obtain that and then to go to college and get those classes and those certificates? Like, it's people out here who are not doing that, and they haven't been in prison all of their life or since they were young. Um, so that is definitely commendable. That is definitely something that should be praised. Um, so how does business come about?
well, with me being Muslim, I see a lot of brothers reaching out to different places or locations in order to order different Islamic apparel, and a lot of the stores became frustrated with the institutions because a lot of the institutions don't like Muslims. You know what I mean? So they look for any and every kind of way to discourage the stores from sending things to the institutions. And then when we did, was able to find a place, it was at a distance. So then the price was expensive. People in here ain't rich. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, a lot of the things that people wanted or had a taste for, we couldn't afford it. So then I said, well, you know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna put together a blueprint, and I'm gonna open up my own Islamic store, and I'm gonna make everything affordable for inmates. The prices on the street will be, respectful prices. But as far as what's inside of the prison system, then everything is the same price, no matter what, with regards to, those sets or whatever, as opposed to having $85 joints or 100 something dollar joints, everything $50. You got, I found a location or a manufacturer that had great quality as far as clothing go, with different type of styles and everything. So whether it's embroidered, whether it's celebratory, or whether it's just plain, everything same price. So I wanted to do that to be able to have the people. For us, we know that when we go to Jumu'ah and we supposed to come in our best. And I know people be wanting to come in their best, but they just didn't have it. So I wanted to make it where brothers can come in their best. I wanted to make it where the Muslims that's in the female institute had their hijabs and could wear their best when they offer prayer and when they attend Jumu'ah. So that push came, that drive came from there. Learning the network, learning the resource, reaching out to these people. We got denied a few different times, and other things fell through cracks and stuff like that. But the determination was there, and now the business been up and running for the past 2 years, or 2.5 years. You know what I mean? And it's doing great. It's approved vendor in the state of Maryland. We're trying to get it now where it can be a vendor for the feds as well. So y'all get a chance, come check it out. Elkiyama Product and Services. Y'all can go online at www.elkiyama.
Well, thank you. Um, one of the things I did want to piggyback on, and I'll spell it out. I'll type it in the chat soon so everybody can see how, how to spell it and where to go at, and I'll put some other information in there. So about us, I just want to, piggyback on us, our relationship, and how we got to where we are. Meeting you literally was a breath of fresh air. It's a lot of guys out here who are focused, but you was the first guy that I ever met who genuinely cared about my relationship with God, which was one of the main factors for me. So with that being said, I said, he cares, and never have I had that before. I've dated, but meeting you, like I said, it was a breath of fresh air. I learned a lot, and I wanted to learn more. You had my interest. Um, so when you brought things to me that I wasn't getting from anywhere else, I'm sorry, my family coming in. Um, when I was getting from you what I wasn't getting from anywhere else, you sort of had me at that point. In addition to that, I wasn't looking for any love. I wasn't looking for anything. So you coming along and changing my views about a lot of things and opening my eyes to a lot of things. And I just had a different feeling inside about a lot of things. And I said, wow, this man did that from prison. You showed up. He showed up when other guys didn't show up. He was present when other people wasn't present. That was present. I don't know if that makes sense. So after building this relationship with you and talking to you, and I got on the bus. I said, I'm getting on this bus because I ain't missing. She said, you miss a bus, another one come. This nope, another bus like this not coming. So I got on the bus and I would do it over and over and over again. I'm glad we took that step.
But,
I'm glad I took a chance. And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
alhamdulillah. For sure, it wasn't me. It was Allah all day long. All praises and thanks definitely is due to him. You know what I mean? Because without that foundation, without his guidance and his instructions, then my belief system wouldn't have never changed. You understand? My perception of life wouldn't have never changed. So when he came, he gave me a foundation, and that's the foundation that I was able to bring to you. You understand what I'm saying? So I look at it, and with a certainty, I know for sure that our lines would have never crossed. But because it was decreed, this is what he had already established and he decreed. You know what I mean? Then we end up crossing paths. And in the place that we cross paths in was best for both of us. Reason why, whatever may have been going on in your life at the time, whatever was going on in my life at the time, Allah knew best what we needed. So therefore, he brought us together as a team. You understand? He put his hands on that situation from the very beginning. He already knew. We just didn't know. For surely he know what we know now. And I questioned it at first. You know what I mean? When you came along, I ain't know, you was on some setup tip. You feel me? You got a lot of people out there in them streets, a lot of females now in the streets setting dudes up and this, that, and other. So I didn't know. You know what I mean? So I asked the Lord, like, man, is she from you or, you know what I mean? This a trick. You feel me? And then after talking to you and learning about you, your mom, the situation, your story, you know what I mean? I knew that you was an amazing woman. We had a conversation about my situation time wise. And at the time, I had just gave my life back. Greater society, so that I have life plus 30 without the possibility of parole. In 2014, I had gave my life back. And when I gave my life back, the state appealed it, and they end up giving me my life sentence back. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, but surely Allah knows better. You know what I mean? But after dealing with that situation and expressing to you exactly, what the state was, and you stayed, you know what I mean? I knew, like, okay, it's from Allah. You know what I mean? Then to see that was very outspoken, ambitious, and determined. You know what I mean? And at the same time, you had this open, kind heart because a lot of people ain't gonna give a person inside of these confinements that type of opportunity or that type of chance. You feel me? So I'm just like, man, wow, Allah is merciful. And then once you came and saved me, and I see that beautiful smile, it was contagious. You know what I mean? You got a smile for sure that's breathtaking. Alhamdulillah. So like I say, for the most part, that foundation was what it was. You know what I mean? The Lord knew what we needed, even when other people didn't. You know what I mean? Even when people had things to say or express this or that or never felt some kind of way about you dealing with somebody on this side, God knew what you needed. You feel me? And ain't nobody greater than God. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody in comparison with Allah. You understand? So him structuring a thing, but he wasn't going to do it until once a person submitted and sincerely and wholeheartedly followed him. And I was on that. You know what I mean? I'm firm upon Deen I was on. You know what I mean? Ain't no turning back away from it. Ain't no turning from it. This is my life. This is my death. This is my all. You understand? And like I expressed to you from the beginning, listen, if you're not walking with God or striving to walk in that fashion, I'm not walking with you because either you on my Deen or I'm on yours. You understand? And I'm that worldly stuff is done and over with. Allah say when you enter into the folds of Islam, enter wholeheartedly and sincerely, and that's what I did. So therefore, the residue from that past wasn't coming into my future. So being that he brought you into my future, we were going to do this right, or we weren't going to do it. You know what I mean? And you stand and showing your character and showing the strength that you have, man, what? I ain't giving that up. I ain't got to go on that for no.
One of the questions in the chat was like, what is life? They wanted to know what is life. So life is life.
You know what?
What is life? When you said you gave your life sentence back and then they gave it back to you.
Okay, well, you have life and you have life without a parole. Life, you will go up in 12 to 16 years for parole. Life without parole, there is no going up. You know what I mean? They declare that, you know what I mean, that's your death sentence. You know what I mean? When I gave my sentence back, by law, just so anytime you're charged for murder, it's always in the second degree, unless they can show premeditation or unless they prove premeditation, which will either make the degree higher or if they can't and they make it lower to manslaughter. But every murder is second degree just starting off. So with my situation, I was charged with second degree murder and first degree murder. And they found me not guilty of second degree murder, but guilty of first degree murder, which the legislator had already attended that you cannot find a person guilty of the greater offense without finding them guilty of the lesser included offense. So once I was found not guilty of second degree, then they couldn't find me by law guilty of the greater offense of first degree. But they did. So then I challenged that sentence, and that sentence was reversed. But when they appealed it, the appeal came back down from the higher court saying, yeah, I do have an inherently illegal sentence. Yeah, I do have a wrong sentence. However, because the lawyer never objected to the sentence when it was pronounced, then therefore it made it as if we accepted that sentence. And now a law actually came down in 2002 where they say that type of sentence is not tolerated at all. However, they didn't run it retroactive. So therefore, I wasn't entitled to the same relief. So therefore, the sentence that came back down to me because the lawyer never objected, it stuck on to me.
Okay. So you guys, we have to take a break shortly. The phone is going to cut off at some point. We're just going to let it cut off, and then he'll have to call back in, and then we'll pick it up. Anybody who's watching, like on Facebook, come over to YouTube, Black Box Radio, and watch us on that. So when he got the life sentence back, I was crushed. I just knew he was coming home. I just knew that everything that we was fighting for up until then was going to come to surface. I came in the picture in 2017, so he had already given that life sentence back to the state. So 2 years later, when they gave it back to him, I literally was crushed. But by that time, I was loving him. I was in love with him, and I wasn't going anywhere. So here we are right now, still fighting for freedom some years later, and this is where we're going to be until he comes home. And like he said, there was a lot of people in my ear. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Like, girl, you dealing with a bum right now on the street who's doing nothing for you. Like, really, I don't want to be that person who quote unquote want to crap on somebody else's relationship. That's not it. But you can't dare speak on someone else's relationship, what they're doing, their marriage, when yours is to the pits. Oh, you don't even have one. Like I said, my husband showed up in so many ways that other people did not. My husband showed up when other men couldn't. And so, how dare you come for my husband? How dare you come for this man who has given me more than any man has ever, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, and you still holding on to someone who might be there physically, but emotionally and everything else, he's somewhere else. Um, Holding on to these men just to say, oh, yes, he is my husband, and he got 5, 6 kids post marriage. So you can't come to me with anything. It's nothing that anyone can say to me about this man. Nothing. And I'm proud to be his. I'm glad he's mine. I'm glad I'm his. Wait a minute, we got a question. Right, economically also, I've been in a lot of relationships. I ain't never been a part of nobody who got no
You have
business.
60 seconds remaining.
Oh, that goes the time. That goes time. So we're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break, guys. Babe. So hang up. Call us back, and we're gonna finish this conversation. Welcome back, everybody. Let me put my cat down. All right, Sushi. Baby, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me turn this down. Welcome back to the show. So, we were just telling everyone how grateful I am to have you. And I see Sha is here. Hi, Sha. She's in the
Yeah,
comments. Thank you for coming. So it seems like you have a lot of support. Your daughter is here. What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about your kids. How are they?
oh man, they tired. Alhamdulillah. Meaning they fine. You know what I mean? I mean, life be life for sure. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so and I'm proud of them. I'm proud of all of them. I mean, I'm thankful more than anything because I've been gone out of their life for 29 years physically. But Allah still allowed them to carry me in their heart for all of these years. They opened up the doors, man, for me to be able to deal with them as well, along with the grandchildren now. You know what I mean? Which is a mercy because you got people in here that might have one child and have no type of contact with them. So, man, but by the permissions of Allah, man, I can't do nothing more than thankful and grateful. You know what I mean? Like I say, I'm proud of them, man. They better continue to keep on doing what they're doing out there. You know what I mean? To make me creep up on them out there joint.
How many? How many of them is it?
Well, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, it's 22 grand and then two on the way. So, mashallah. I'm just, it's a lot. You know what I mean? But big up to y'all. Y'all know who y'all are already.
The people don't know. They don't know how many you got. I have one. I have one son, Deontay. And like he said, he has a lot. Shy is on the line. Thank you for coming, Shy. Thank you for showing some support. Um, she said it's seven of us. It's seven of them here. Um, she joined in. She said it is seven. Yes, it is.
What's wrong with y'all? Man,
Yeah, and we love each and every one of them. Um, that's wonderful. She's on here. I wish we could have had her on as a guest.
so,
Huh?
yeah, for sure. For sure, I'm big about them. You know what I mean? I love them
Yeah.
for everything. And,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? They are me and I am them. So
Yeah, I definitely can see some of you in all of them. Definitely. And she said we proud of you, so she's proud as well. So your support, you got them in support. You have me as support. You have any other support that's lingering around out there?
I mean, got a nice little support system out there. I mean, most of the people I know came from in here. You understand? So most of the friends or most of the sincere relationships that has developed and grew throughout the years, it came from the men in here. So with outside of them, different little support groups or different little outreaches or different masjids. You feel me? So yeah, I definitely got some people fighting with me in my corner. You know what I mean? Definitely a voice where there was no voice. You feel me? I ain't voiceless no more. You know?
Right, absolutely.
And
And
with speaking of that, you know, I ask Allah every day to increase me in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, so that I may be able to effectively help others. So every day, I make it my business to talk to somebody about the law, to talk to somebody about their family, to talk to people about their freedom, to help them to look at the bigger picture, to what I mean, recognize what the value of life is, or you know, have them to give a second take at what's on their platform. Does it belong on that platform or not? You feel me? I mean, I want the best for people. I want for people what I would want it for myself. And not knowing how my situation will end up turning out, I want other people's situation to be better than whatever mine is. You understand? So I take the initiative now, having 29 years in. I look at it and say a lot of things I have exhausted my rights to in court. I don't have that door open for me no more. So I want to make sure that it doesn't take 29 years for somebody else to have those doors shut on them. So I do my job by educating people, and by giving them a different take, even if it's just having a positive or productive conversation with them, so that they see what they really sacrifice.
Mhm.
Because for sure, a lot of people came in ignorant like I did. You know what I mean? We sacrificed what we love for what we hated. Man, niggas don't love this right here. You feel me? There's some foolishness right here. You understand? And as kids and living in ignorance, we didn't see that then. We couldn't perceive that then. You know what I mean? And when people try to express certain things or explain certain things, we couldn't see it in that light because of how they was living. You can't tell me how to live and express something to me if you living on some foolishness. You understand what I'm saying? So how you gonna tell me something and I got more than you and we out here in these streets? You understand? So my thing now is to give people what I wish somebody would have gave me in that light, whereas my spirit was ready to eat that. You know what I mean? So I that's a guaranteed thing that I do every day. You know what I mean? If you ain't talking about nothing, if you want some foolishness still, I'm gonna keep my distance. But for the most part, I'm gonna make it my business to come around, man, and try to give you what's needed for you to make those uh reset modes in your life. You know what I mean? To push forward to what really matters to you. You know, I hear people talking about their children going through this or their mothers getting old or such and such passed away. You feel me? So I'm trying to do my part on helping these men get back out there. You know what I mean? Not back out there on no foolishness, but so that greater society can see that they are um, welcome members out there. That these are people now that they can wake up to, that they can feel comfortable waking up to. You know what I mean? Saying that they are assets now coming back out into the community as opposed to liabilities. So even if I can't make it out, I'm gonna do my part in here to make sure the men that do get up this around coming out with some substance. You feel me? Right now, greater society need help. Help coming. It's on the way. You know what I mean? And like they say, all it started is with one. And now you
Right.
got many men that done made it up time. Many men
Right.
that done got time in and out there and doing things that's productive and actually bringing that substance out there. Yo, some more on the way. That ain't it. It ain't over. And they coming.
It's definitely needed. Definitely needed. These young men and women, because some of these young women out here are just as, doing just as much as these young men are out here. You hear now on the news about, um, you know, carjackings and robberies. And then when they catch somebody, they show the picture. It's a girl. I'm like, oh my goodness. And it's not that, it's just that it's unseen, it's unheard of, and they definitely need some guidance. They definitely need that redirection. They definitely do. These streets out here are mean, and they're not stopping them from
Right
coming
now,
in. Say it again, babe.
yeah, right now, it's an imbalancement. I say right now it's an imbalancement out there. You know what I mean? Religious knowledge or spiritual knowledge is decreasing and the jahiliyyah is increasing. You know what I mean? That ignorant way of life. You understand? So it needs to be a balance back out there. And it's hard to find a balance because a lot of people want better. They just don't know how to get better. A lot of
Absolutely.
people want to do better, but experiencing certain hardships is preventing them, you know what I mean, from being able to move forward. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to give up. It's hard to fight.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I mean? We see that a lot now, and when the person's struggling and this is all they know, and what you expect you're going to get. So unless a person is being groomed differently, you feel me? Unless they are being educated differently, I mean, they're gonna do what they know how to do. And for the most part, a lot of people, everybody had a spirit within inside of them because God said, "I gave everybody a talent," and for those who utilize those talents, I will enhance that talent. But a lot of people, although they have those talents, don't know how to groom those talents because there's no one around to groom it now. So therefore, their spirit is just lying dormant. It's not being fed. Their flesh is being fed. You know what I mean? And you see it now in the streets, in the way of the streets. That's their flesh that's being fed. You feel me? But the spirituality is lying dormant. So it takes some people to come along and groom that spirit in order for them to become whole people again, for society to look whole and have that balance to it again. And without that, like as the Bible say, due to a lack of knowledge, people perish, and that's what's happening right now. We perishing because people aren't knowledgeable. You know what I mean? People are living in ignorance, and their perception of it is this is the norm. This is what it is.
Right.
Let me
Right.
adapt to what is the norm, and it's
Right.
destroying us. It's destroying us as a person. It's destroying us as a people. It's destroying us as a whole.
as a
You understand?
community.
So until that balance come in that fashion to groom that spirit, this imbalancement, what y'all see is what y'all gonna get out there.
That was definitely a jewel. We definitely need some structure and some redirection out here. Um, so let's get this fighting for freedom out here, fighting for freedom. This is where we're going to be. Every third Sunday, 7 p.m. We'll be here. We'll be bringing someone new on every week. I mean, every month. We'll be digging into their stories, and we will be bringing these people to you. We want you guys to see that these people aren't work on their last bad mistake. So, you want to shout out some people, babe?
Yeah, listen. Yeah, I mean, I know there's only like 2 minutes left before this little joint. I mean, cut me off. So I'm gonna say this real fast. You would think that reaching out to greater society would be an easy task. Well, think again. We're very much behind the times ahead and don't have the avenues to really be.
Oh man, did it cut him off?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, so he's not going to be able to close it out like he usually does. So think what the tablets is. When your 30 minutes is up and you have to log all the way out, log all the way back in and reset it. If it doesn't, it will only give you a certain amount of time. And that's what just happened. So I guess it probably gave him 2 minutes on the tablet, but it wasn't 2 minutes. So he didn't get to drop his jewels. He didn't give his shout out, but I want to shout out his kids. Thank you, Shy, for coming on. Thank everyone for coming on. Thank you guys for listening. Like I said, we're here every third Sunday. We'll have a new guest for you guys. The business Alkiyama Products and Services. Let me put it in the chat for you guys. And this is where you can go and purchase some of our apparel. You can look and see what we have. We have an email. If anybody want to come on as a guest, know somebody want to come on. If you have an incarcerated loved one, you want them to come on the show. The email is, look, he's calling back. The email is fighting for freedom, the number 4 at myyahoo.com. That's important. Fighting for freedom, the number 4 at myyahoo.com. Send me an email. Let me know that you have someone who want to come on, and I will definitely send them out some information. Again, thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate everyone who logged on. You haven't heard the last from him. We will have him on again. We will talk about our story more. But for right now, this is our time, guys, and I really appreciate you guys for tuning in with us. Thanks.